Hello guys, welcome to the latest episode of Every Platform, and welcome to a very big episode of Every Platform. We are on the far north line. Weird saying that I've come all the way up here to do some stations, but we have. When I say we, I mean myself and Noah, Irish transport enthusiast, who's over there. He's come over for this trip. There he is. There he is. Happy days. Yeah, so the first stop we reached today is Kildonan. Now this station is literally in the middle of nowhere, but we'll talk more about where it is and what actually serves. Excuse my cough, I have had it for a little while, as you probably heard it in the last video too, but it is going away now, so that's the positive thing. This line spans about 4.5 hours long if you do the entire stretch, which starts at Wick and goes all the way to Inverness. The trains do not extend any further than Inverness. They literally do the whole line. The whole line as well is not just that, it is mostly request stops. There are a few that aren't because they're passing loops. But then there are a lot that also are request stops, like this one. So yeah, if you do check out any updates on trips and posts, check out my Facebook group, and also check out my Instagram, KTVvids, and my Twitter at KTVvids96. So we'll talk about the station and some facts in a second. This is a trip that me and Noah have been planning for a very long time. We planned it at the very start of December, January maybe. It was a few months ago we talked about the trip, and we stuck to this date, and we're here, so that's good. Let's begin today's episode of Every Platform here at Kildonan, and we'll see some of the other stations later. Okay, so Kildonan, we're going to talk about some facts about it. So the railway station is actually near a place called Kildonan Lodge. That's the nearest place, which is where Noah's pointing. That direction there.
I think actually that's the house down there.
Yeah, there's like a little roof there. There's also a couple of houses there too. What look like a little farm as well. So yeah, it's a lot of this area beyond the station is probably a lot of private land. So that's probably something to note about a lot of the stations we visit here. Kildonan is also the second least used station on the far north line. It is also the 16th, as some records were. It's probably not anymore, but it was the 16th least used station in the UK. But it's the second least used on the far north, which means the far north has two of them. The other one is a station called Scots Calder, which we will be visiting today as well. That one's probably much more interesting than this one because of how remote it is, but this one isn't so remote. This one's sort of got a bit of things around it and isn't cut off completely, but literally this area, or most of these stations, do not have any bus connection. They have a really terrible train connection, and basically if you live here you need to know how to drive. It is one of those places and you can't get away from that fact. If you live here, you are cut off from the real world, and I hate to say it, but it is true. I think you'd agree, wouldn't you, Noah? Unless you live in Thurso or Wick, you're probably cut off from the real world, because Thurso,
anyway, so like...
well, Thurso, at least you've got connection back to Inverness, you know, with the bus and everything.
Yeah, but like,
and the
here it's just remote anyway, so
yeah, I know, but this place is more cut off than I think Thurso and all that would be because of what facilities it's got. Anyway, so something else I want to show you in just a second as well. Okay, so one thing I want to show you. So Kildonan is a request stop. Now most stations with a request stop, they just ask you to put your arm out like Noah would do just there, and just ask the driver to stop. Not here. No, we got this. This is a request stop screen button press thingy. essentially ScotRail installed these back in 2020, and essentially they built it with the because there's so many request stops on the line, they thought it might just be easier for people to press a button. So we need to get on the 0959 Wick service. So Noah, gonna press the button. This service will stop at this station. It's now lit up in green. So that means the driver is probably now just been made aware we are here, and the 959 to Wick will stop. That's the believe it or not, to give you a bit of context, that is the 0600 off Inverness, and it's 9:59 here. That is crazy long. So, and considering it's still got a bit of the stretch of track to go still, so yeah. 0631, sorry, not 0600, 0631. I did look at it yesterday, I remember now. Yeah, what's that? We're going to go over here and have a look at something as well. There's probably going to be a lot of exploration in this video.
So you were incorrect. It's the 7 o'clock at Inverness.
Is it 7?
Yes.
I thought it was 6:31.
No, 7.
Okay.
Yes.
7 o'clock.
Here that these stations, Kinbrace, Rogert, Invershin, and Coleraine have.
Yeah. So maybe some of the others don't have it then.
The push button.
Some of the others may not have it then. Right, so that's Kildonan done. We're going to film when the train gets here and move on to the next station. I'll update you soon. Okay, approaching now is going to be the 0959 ScotRail service from Inverness to Wick, with the level crossing making noise. By the way, these here, as you can tell from the first clip, the 158, the gap is very, very big. So we had to, we may have to use the stairs. It is 158712. 158721 was the one that took us here. Update you shortly. Alright, we've now made it to Scots Calder. 158712 heading out. Right, so here we are at Scots Calder, and we'll update you in just a moment about this station, because this one, we've got a bit more stuff about it than others. So okay, so this station is Scots Calder. This station is located in, let's just note, it's the Highland Council area in far north of Scotland. So it serves rural hamlets in the historic county of Caithness. It includes Scots Calder, Aldgrimore, Westerdale and Calder, which is the little hamlets that it serves. It's actually 2 miles south of Scots Calder Hall, which is actually the main area for the place. So it's actually 2 miles out. So it's nowhere near the actual place that is the little hamlet of Scots Calder. Worth noting, because of its geographical remoteness, the limited services and the lengthy journey times, the patronage at the station is really, really low, and there's actually less steps here, so it's all right. But it is the least used station on the Far North Line. This one is. It is really, really remote, and that is something to note. But yeah. The station house, which you can see here, was sold, but it's now just a residential place, as you can tell. But this is the Scots Calder station house. So that's really all there is to this station. It is really remote, and it's, like I say, the least used on the Far North Line. This one is. There's not much else that really can be said about it. The next train here is the 1324 to Inverness, followed then by the 1403 to Wick. That will be one after that. So yeah, taking the farmland here, because basically this is what it is, but it is actually really nice. Station's obviously stone paved, so no concrete pavements here, except this bit here, the concrete bit of the platform. And also a vintage sign over here, a heritage one, which also fits in with the railway station, which is quite nice. Obviously the ScotRail one there, and then the old one here, which is nice. So that is Scots Calder. I'm not going to say much more because we need to go, because we're going to make our way to Georgemas Junction now. We'll update you soon. As Noah pointed out as well, here there is a little plaque here as well, which is the British Rail Premier Award 1993. There's a plaque here, Scots Calder Station, basically for, I guess, retaining the heritage of the station. I think that's kind of what it is, and they did really well at doing that here. So yeah, really nice. But it is someone's house, so I don't want to pry too much. But yeah, you can see how remote this station is. We're going to go explore a bit. Update you soon. Okay, so as you see, we've just appeared at Georgemas Junction. How did we get here? We walked. It's a very long walk. It's about a couple of hours, but we had loads and loads of time, so we thought we'll stop off in Halkirk, which is the village in between. Well, it's not near enough, it's not really in between, it's about 3/4 of the way to the walk to Georgemas Junction. Scots Calder is literally nowhere. We walked along like a really dead country road for about 3.5 miles and ended up in Halkirk, and the walk was really good. Got, yeah, about 3.5 mile walk in, got to Halkirk, got stopped off for a drink, something to eat, carried on walking, and it was about, what, another couple, I think it's like another 1.8 to 2 miles to get here. I think it was about 2 miles. So yeah, here we are at Georgemas Junction. This station does serve multiple hamlets as well, and the station is a junction. It's the only junction on this branch because it junctions 3 lines. The first one, which is that way, so let me just catch my breath. The first one, which is that way, is the, so that over there is basically the main line that goes to Inverness, the one I'm facing there. If you also look that way, the line junctions 2 ways. The first one is to Thurso, and the second one is to Wick. The 2 stations are on 2 different branch lines. It is actually quite crazy to say that, but they are. They are on 2 different branch lines, and they are, it's just so awkward. The train starts at Wick, it calls at Georgemas Junction, it reverses, it goes to Thurso, it leaves Thurso, it comes back to Georgemas Junction, calls again, and then goes that way over to Inverness. How crazy does that sound? Well, it actually used to be a shuttle in between here and Thurso, because the train used to just carry on to Wick without actually having to go into Thurso, but they stopped that and they just introduced this crazy pattern instead. So yeah, I'll update you more shortly if there's any other facts, but yeah, this is Georgemas Junction. So a couple of extra facts about the station. So before 158s were introduced on the line itself, this train, although it used to have loco hordes, so it used to have steam locos, and then 37s used to run on the line from Inverness. Before, and then actually after that, it was 156s, and then they stopped, and then 158s ran, and ever since it's been 158s. It's been 158s for a long time now, but 156s did do it. I don't know when 156s actually stopped running on this line, but they did do it for a good while. Interestingly enough, there's actually a little exception, or an easement if you like, on the National Routing Guide, which is basically, the National Routing Guide, if you don't know, is basically like a comprehensive guide that tells you technically what is valid and what isn't, and what routes you can use and what routes you can't, what tickets you can buy, or not necessarily that, but it gives you an idea. But anyway, an easement on this one allows passengers for Wick to stay on the train between Georgemas and Thurso, which would otherwise be off the route. So in other words, if you had a job's worth on the train who was literally like, no, they would make you change here and just literally wait for the same train to come back and take you to Wick. But instead what they do, the routing guide allows for people to stay on the train, go into Thurso, come back here again and go to Wick. Otherwise, if it wasn't there, it wouldn't be allowed, and they tell people to get off here and wait for it to come back. So yeah, it's a crazy station, this one. It is actually it's also, as you can expect, it's the northernmost railway junction station, and
Never have guessed.
we never would have guessed. Also, just because Noah's here, we just did like I said, about a 3.5 mile walk, maybe a bit longer, a bit more, to...
It's a lot longer than that, you're mad.
It's about 4 or 5 miles, wasn't it?
You're off your head.
Okay. It was, I think it was about 4. Anyway, so, I want to ask Noah, what do you think of that walk, Noah?
I'm not getting anything out of it.
Yeah, he didn't like it. He didn't like it until we got to
For
Halkett.
sake, to put into perspective, it was near enough 7k.
Yeah, so about 7, yeah, so there you go. 7k steps.
Oh, no, sorry. That's in miles. 7.5 miles.
It was 7.5 miles we did. Right, I was way off. I didn't even bother to look. 7.5 miles. And Noah didn't like it until we got to Halkett, the village where we could get a drink. It's because it rained. And it rained a lot. But we managed it, so that's commitment. Anyway, next stop for us is Altnabreac. We'll update you soon. Okay, about to peer out from the little branch here is the 1319 ScotRail service from Wick to Inverness, and it is the return of 158712. What else was it going to be, really? Taking us to Altnabreac, however you want to say it. Excuse my poor pronunciation, but there we go. And we'll update you shortly. Okay, we now reach Altnabreac. And oh my god, what a view this is. That is actually insane. Right, well, as you can see, the railway actually inclines all the way down there. So you might just be able to see the train only just incline literally all the way down and across. So it's a really good view out to know when the train's approaching, which is handy. Excuse the cough. So this station is Altnabreac. Now this station is renowned as one of the most geographically isolated stations in the UK. Now a few others that have that that status are of course Wick-Brora on the West Highland Line. You've also got Georgemas Junction in Mid Wales. You've also got Burnley Arms in Norfolk as well. So there's a excuse me, a good few others that share that status, but this one's another one of them, because it literally, the only main component of this station, or of this place, is the station. That's how isolated it is. I'll talk more about it in a second. So you see this got a little shack here, which is quite nice. And there's Noah. Noah, why aren't you coming out the shack? Oh no, what's wrong? What are you? Chicken? Yeah, there's 3 chickens there.
Die.
I hope you like that. So, one other thing we noticed about Altnabreac, this. It's a flip dot departure screen. Someone must have made this. ScotRail's logo is on it. But that is incredible. Actually incredible. Our trains are 13:54. As you can see, it's expected at 14:02, so it is running 8 minutes late. So that's fun.
I have more time to get these guys ready for a KFC interview.
No, no. That's poor chickens. They're happily walking around. Anyway, so something else to note about the station. Like I say, it is in the county, well, all these stations are in the county of Caithness, which is basically the Highland Council area. Well, the whole of this is the Highland Council area, and that's the county. So literally I think only there is this house, and then that's literally it at this station. So yeah, facts about Altnabreac done. The next station for us is of course the mighty Wick. So we're going to do Wick next, and that's the station that I'll really be happy with covering on every platform is Wick. But these stations as well, I'm seriously happy with clearing because they're so difficult. So Noah is fascinated by that flip dot.
It's so, I've never seen a flip dot.
It's really cool, isn't it?
Like,
I bet the chickens have. Anyway, update you soon. Right, arriving in now is our train, which is going to be 158 711, which is on the 13:54 ScotRail service to Wick. Update you in just a moment. Right, we have just made it to Wick. This is a big part of the series. We've actually made it here. 158711 obviously brought us in. Mad, this is mad. We're actually in Wick.
Wick. What's here?
Well, it's a bigger town than some of the others, so anyway, we'll talk more about the station in a minute, but here we are at Wick. Right, here we are at Wick station. So this station is, well, it's amazing really. This is the nearest station to John O'Groats, which, if you know your geography, is the furthest mainland place in England you can get to before it ends, same as Land's End is in Cornwall. So there is we actually met some people on the train coming here that actually were cycling from Land's End, or have cycled from Land's End to John O'Groats. They're actually up here to do some cycling anyway, and then they're cycling from, I think, Wick or Thurso down to Edinburgh, so that's quite amazing. So what is there about this station to note? Quite a lot, I guess. Yeah, there is. Wick Airport, that's one of the things that's near here. So there's absolutely nothing really. It's commercial air travel for connections to Caithness. It actually does run services to Aberdeen as well, or used to anyway. It used to also run to Edinburgh until 2020, but it's regularly used by offshore oil operations, helicopters basically. So that's one of the things. Also worth noting that this station is, you can't get any further basically, same as Thurso. Thurso's a bit different to Wick for other facts. This is the terminus of the Far North Line. This is the official terminus, so you do not get any further than here. This is a station that I really wanted to clear for a long time on every platform, and we finally got here, you know, a good couple of years later after doing loads of other places. We got here, and that's the really big thing. This is my second visit to Wick. 2018 I was here to begin with, but I never recorded that. I have now done it here though, which I'm very happy about. Yeah, so this station is also serving probably one of the town of Wick is actually one of the bigger towns in this area. Thurso is probably the other one, and then the rest of it is just hamlets and villages. It's crazy really to think about. So what else is there? Probably not much else. But yeah, the village of John O'Groats is at the northeastern tip of mainland Britain, so that's to be more specific. But yeah, that is Wick Station. We'll update you soon with more facts, well, and something else. Okay, so one of the things that we wanted to do whilst we were here at Wick was, obviously in many videos you've seen on every platform, you've seen us do the Wick test. Well, we're actually in Wick, and Wick doesn't have a ticket machine, so we can't do it the proper way. So instead, what we're doing is, Noah's got it on his phone, we're doing the Penzance test.
So 8 adults on a weekday from Wick to Penzance, starting at 6:18 for first class, 3.4 grand.
Ouch.
Standard being 2.4.
That's crazy. 3.4k. There is obviously,
and it tells you to go from Wick to Inverness.
yeah,
Inverness to Edinburgh.
yeah,
Edinburgh to Plymouth.
and then Plymouth Penzance.
Yes. You get Penzance at 7:29 the following day.
That's crazy.
24 hours, 11 minutes.
It's mad. So we made it here, we covered it. I'm really happy about that. So what we're going to do now is me and Noah are going to get some food. We're hungry, and then we're going to go to Wick-Brora, the next station. Right, so something to admire just before we go back on the train, whilst we're here at Wick, is the station's entrance, which is something. The building is really old. The station, here it is. Now, interestingly enough, Wick's station building is very similar to that of Thurso's, which you're going to see as well later. Now, yeah, it just looks like an old church, or maybe like church-like building. It's not, obviously, but it looks like it used to be something former. But yeah, it hasn't changed. It's been open a very long time, and they haven't changed anything about it, which is the beauty of this station, and obviously the others that have got infrastructure on them like that as well. So yeah, we're gonna head in now, and we're going to get the train, just walk in, take all this in for a moment before we head back. Seen a main concourse here, obviously been really well decorated. Looks really lovely. All the local art that's all around, plants, and a plaque, Rail Track Scotland. What's the amount of regeneration of Wick Station? 28th of July 1999. 125th anniversary it was back then. This station is very old. So yeah, there is a ticket office. It's not open. That is the ticket office. And yeah, you just take in this beautiful station, this beautiful area as well. It's been really nice. And obviously here's the train, 158711, which we are now going to take to Brora. Got about 2 hours on this train now, so look forward to that. Update you soon. Right, we've now reached Brora station. The parting out now is 158711. The last we'll see of this one today, as it heads off on the 1800 ScotRail service to Inverness from Wick. It's very windy here. It's picking up now. Don't think one of the doors isn't locked yet, so I'll update you in just a moment. I don't think it is anyway. Maybe I'm wrong. Now it's going. Excuse the cough. So, update you in just a second. Okay, so this is Brora station. It says a small town of Brora in well, the Highland Council area, like all of this is. This station is how many miles? What, 90 miles from Inverness? So still a good way, really, in theory. Plans were actually announced as well in 2019 for this station to have to redevelop the station building into like a distillery, so to have like a tourist information point, a gift shop and a cafe. Didn't happen though, and I don't think redeveloping this station would be a good idea because it looks really nice in its old heritage building. So unless they actually redeveloped this building into the distillery and they didn't actually take anything down, there's no vibing, then you know it might be better, but obviously it's probably more so it might ruin the history and stuff like that. Might ruin the history of the what the station looks like right now and take that away, but who knows. But it didn't happen. So they are a listed building though, the station building, part of historic Scotland. I think it might be a grade 2, but I don't know how they do it here in Scotland, if it's different. But yeah, this station is also a passing loop, and there's no more trains from this station going to Inverness. That was the last one we just had. There's only one more train now, and it's ours, which we're picking up from Helmsdale, not actually from here. We're getting a bus, the only bus of this trip, to Helmsdale, and then we're going to pick the last train up from there to cover the last 2 stations of Helmsdale and then finally Thurso. So we'll update you soon. Just a word, Kinbrace and Forzenard, haven't forgotten them, but they're just, because of the service level and trains, there wasn't enough time in the day to do them both, so they will be done on my next visit, which there definitely will be, of course there will be. So update you soon. We actually take it in as well. The footbridge is in a bright old state. You look at it just from here all the way up, it hasn't been used in, hasn't been looked at in years. It doesn't look like, just stayed the same really. It's just rusted, and not in a good way either. So yeah, all this just doesn't make it look very nice in that sense, but I'm sure the rest of the station is looked after. It's just this one little element. We usually play Murky Subway, don't we, when I do these videos, so we'll play Murky Footbridge instead. So Brora is part of that. So yeah, the next stop for us then, we're done here now, so the next stop for us is Helmsdale, and we will meet you, we'll catch up with you there. Right, we're off the X99 now, which is formed of a Plaxton Panther 2. And now we're going to head off to Helmsdale. We're in Helmsdale now, but we're now going to make our way to the station before my camera gets dripped on more. Update in a minute. Right, so this is Helmsdale we're at now. We just made it off, obviously made it off the X99. This station is located in the village of Helmsdale in the Highland Council area, of course. I'm just going to say that every single time. It's quite a busy place actually, although the locale isn't amazing. There's a fish and chip takeaway, which I've just got dinner from, so that's nice. But other than that, not a lot. What else is there to say? This station's, there's a station master's house, which has now been converted into a holiday accommodation, albeit I don't know where it is. I think it's out there. But yeah, this is the station. 2 platforms. This can act as a passing loop. The last train is the 2108 Wick service, which we're waiting for. But yeah. There's actually an accident here as well. A collision between a down mixed train from Inverness, which ran into an engine which arrived earlier on. It was a deliberate ignoring of signals as well. Someone got in trouble afterwards. Update you soon. This is Helmsdale. Okay, arriving into Helmsdale now is our train, 158714, and this is to take us all the way back to Thurso. And we'll update you when we reach Thurso, the last station we need today. Update you soon. Right, we're now here at Thurso, so you can hear all the birds are screaming. This station is the northernmost station in the UK. It's crazy because Wick isn't actually the furthest north, Thurso is. 158714, sat here at the moment. We're going to be reversing in a moment to continue on back to Georgemas Junction and then Wick. Yeah, so I'll update you in a moment. So here we are at Thurso. This station is the northernmost station on the National Rail network. Geographically, Wick isn't that much more north. Well, it's a little bit less north than Thurso is. If you look at it on a map, you'll see Thurso is just that little bit higher up. Thurso is the highest one. And as the last station we visited today, we've just got off the last Wick train. There's now no more trains for the rest of the evening. It is now about 10:30. So it kind of makes sense. It doesn't look like it's 10:30 though, with it still being quite light out.
Off the summer, baby.
I know.
Oh yeah.
This station is also the nearest one to the port of Scrabster, which is a quite popular used ferry port, which serves Stromness and which is on the Orkney Islands. So you can actually get even further than that, but not actually on the mainland. So you have to go across to another island. So it's very cold here. So, what else is there to say whilst we're walking? It's on its own branch, just like Wick is, and as you can see it has a second buffer over there, which I'm not too sure what it's for, but hey ho.
Depending it might be just storing on the trains if you need it.
I reckon so. It's for something, definitely. I'll update you more in a moment. So, last couple of facts about the station. This station is long enough, would you believe, to fit, I did just see it, where is it? Yeah, no, it's not that. Long enough to fit a 9-carriage train, but it doesn't even need that. It could literally just be this and then that would be it, but you never know, rail talk could come in. So, but the other thing to note is that there used to, obviously, I said at Georgemas, that there used to be a shuttle that ran in between Thurso and Georgemas Junction. Well, there have been proposals in the past, and you're not going to believe this, it's actually quite funny, but of reinstating that shuttle, but not by ScotRail. Oh no. Guess who wanted to get involved? Viva Rail. So that means the class 230 battery trains, which are the old D stock. Absolutely, that would be horrendous. But then again, it's only a short stretch of track, so it will probably cope. But to this day, nothing's come to materialise from that, but it is interesting. But yeah, so I'm going to finish up here. Thank you all for watching today's episode from the far north. If you have liked what you've seen, do like and subscribe, and do leave any comments because we'll get back to them as when I can. And any recommendations are welcomed, so do leave those in the comments. Joining today, Irish transport enthusiast. Thank you very much, Noah. It's been an absolutely brilliant day. We had a tricky walk, and we had a load of time at Helmsdale doing absolutely nothing. But other than that, it's been really, really good. But yeah, you enjoyed it?
Yes.
That's a big yes. He's happy. So anyway, so the next episode of Every Platform will be from West Sussex. The final, I believe it's one of the last like fully West Sussex orientated trips. And this one will cover the west coast way over to Brighton from Chichester. So this will be the last one needed, really. Any others obviously will be included in other trips, including the section to Horsham, which I haven't forgotten about, by the way. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye.